Well, hey, what is up? Welcome back. It's Freed's first time. I am Freed. I'm just your average dude. Likes to talk about whiskey, listen to music, and just laugh. You like that too? Please consider subscribing or at least give me one of those thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. So, that being said, let's talk about this. This is the LOCH LOMOND Single Grain Peated. It's a non-age stated whiskey. But before I get into it, the first time I ever heard LOCH LOMOND uttered by a human being was in Spaceballs. Do you remember that?
LOCH 1, LOCH 2, LOCH 3, LOCH LOMOND.
Now, I'm not sure if the dude was talking about the distillery, because it's been around for quite a long time, mid-1800s, or maybe the loch itself, which is in the Trossachs National Park in the south of Scotland. It could be one of those two. Either way, that was the first time I remember anybody saying the words LOCH LOMOND. And I don't know how that has stuck out in my brain. I don't even know what I had for lunch yesterday, but I do remember that scene in the movie Spaceballs. It could be because I've watched it probably 100 times. Anyways, okay, yeah, fine. I'll play it. Here we go. Look.
We ain't found shit.
Every time I laugh. Every time. I'm gonna be editing that in. I'm just thinking about that. I didn't watch it like you just did. I'm just thinking about it. It's making me giggle. Anyways. Okay, non-age stated whiskey. That does come through on the whiff and on the palate. It is a little bit young, it's a little bit shiny and pokey, but and not in like the pleasant way like the Wee Beastie was we had the last time. It's a bit too much, too shiny, not fun, not in a fun way, if you know what I mean. So it is 46% ABV, and it was aged in first fill American oak and refill American oak, which they made on location, which is pretty cool. Now, there's a few things we need to talk about before we jump into the nosing and the tasting notes. This bottle is clear, dude. I don't know why. I, for some reason, got a clear bottle. I have, I guess, a shot in the dark type of guess, but every photo I've found online, even on the LOCH LOMOND website, the bottle is black. I am failing to understand what's going on. But my only guess is that this could be a China release only, because the rear label is all in Chinese characters. It says in Chinese, coffee still down there on the label. Now the box itself doesn't have any Chinese on it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's new. I don't know. If you have any thoughts or you know what's going on here, let me know, because everything I've seen online, the bottle's black. But whatever. So, as mentioned before, this is a single grain, but, pause for dramatic effect, it's 100% malted barley. Now, why isn't that a single malt? Because it was made in a coffee still. I found that out. It's pretty awesome. I was very confused. I saw the label and I was like, shit, I got a fake one. Because I thought someone didn't know what they were doing, taking a piss and just slapped a label on it. But no, I had to look it up, and yeah, so in order to be called single malt Scotch whiskey, it must be distilled on a pot still. And this wasn't, hence the coffee still part, which is also known as a column still or a continuous still. And you can see it, I actually have a picture, well, a drawing of it on the box, the twin columns of the coffee still. Which, okay, I get it, makes sense. And they have, sorry, my cat got some catnip earlier and he's super high right now and he's acting a fool. Anyways, they peated the barley to 50 ppm, and on the whiff and on the palate, I'm not getting that level of peatedness. Peated. Yeah, don't you do it. Anyway, so in my mind, I'm thinking, after doing a little bit of research on how column stills work, well, I had a general idea, of course, but doing a little bit more, I think maybe it's stripped a little bit of those oils and flavor compounds out, where in a pot still they would have been left in. That's my only guess, but I'm not a scientist, so if you would happen to know the answer to these questions, lay them on me, please. I just burped in the middle of saying that. Apologies. All right, before I continue making a gem out of myself, let's hop into the whiff, shall we? Dude, my cat's playing with the cable. Is the camera swinging? Because it's the stoned cat. It's the stoned cat. He's just looking at the wall. All right, clear bottles, stone cats aside, let's go into the whiff, shall we? Now, youth. You're gonna get it, all right? And for 30 bucks, that's what I have to say about that. Not so bad, not so bad. It's okay. So on the whiff and on the palate, you're gonna get a little bit of that youth punch, which is no big deal. A little bit of water, maybe you can tamp that down. I didn't like it with water. I like it just the way it is, so that's that. But I'm getting a bit of a savory honeysuckle that's kind of mixed with kind of an artificial floral note that you would get in like air fresheners or maybe perfumes. This is a bit of a nostalgic note for me, which, yeah, it is what it is, but I'm getting some Play-Doh, like a Play-Doh element to it, which I like the smell of Play-Doh. Some people would not, I assume, because it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a polarizing smell. Either you dig it or you don't. No one's ever going to be like, oh yeah, it smells okay. It's going to be like, I fucking love it, or it's disgusting. So Play-Doh, for me, is good, and I'm getting a little bit on that nose. And I'm getting a bit of like, now, hear me out, garage. Now, growing up, our garage was just a storage for more or less everything, like the vehicles, the lawnmowers, the tools, the paints, the bicycles, and all of those things emitted a smell. I mean, the grass clippings from the lawnmowers, the paint, obviously, the engine oily smells from the vehicles, and all of those kind of combined into its own smell. Do you know what I mean? Have you experienced that before? And that's exactly what I'm getting on this nose, and I can only describe it just as garage. So I hope that worked out for you. All right, decide on the palate. Come back. It's a big mouthful, man. Worth it. It's a little softer around the edges than I remember, which is great. That's good. So let that be known. I'm getting like a peaty custard. The mouthfeel is wonderful, and I dig it. It's a little thin. If I had to be a little nitpicky bitch about it, it's a little thin, but I'm getting like a peaty custard in it all. Kind of like a tarry creosote type of note. Yeah. Coffee grounds. And going into the finish, you're getting like a caramely oak, which I'm assuming is coming from the American oak barrels. The finish, I would say, medium on the longer side of short, if that makes any sense. It's a bit sour and a little on the bitter side, which could be an oaky element, an oaky thing. A little bit of sap, like the pine sap and some ash on the finish. It's okay for the price. It's not so bad. I mean, if you're curious on whether you like peaty whiskeys and you don't want to pop off for an Ardbeg or a Lefroy or a Loggy V, absolutely, this is totally worth it. Some people are going to be all freaked out because there's not a number on the label. I'm not one of those people. This is naturally presented, by the way. No coloring and no filtration. That's obviously a very important thing to mention that I forgot, but there it is. Right on. So yeah, if you want to try out a peaty whiskey, give this a go. It's not one of those peaty whiskeys it's subtle. It's not subtle peat at all. It's more so on the nose than it is in the palate for me. But if you want to dip your toes in, maybe go for something a little more chill. But on the whole, for the price, it's pretty great. Pretty great. It's a bit extreme. It's worth the price. There. That's as far as I'm going to go. It's definitely worth the price. It's worth the 30 bucks I paid for it, for sure. When I buy it again, I wouldn't say no. I would want to explore a little bit more out there, but I wouldn't, like, have it in my house all the time and recommend it to a whole lot of people. But if it's there and there's nothing else going on, I would absolutely be happy if somebody slid a glass of this over to me. Right on. So, as far as music pairings go, I found a good one. And I think it's good. I like it a lot. It's the Talking Heads, 1980, Cross-Eyed and Painless, from their, oh shoot, what was that album? Remain in the Light album, 1980. A lot of people cover this song too. Fish, for example, covers this song quite often. But the original, you can't beat it. So, that is my music pairing for this whiskey. I'll put a link down in the description below. Have a listen, have a drink, enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for coming by, and we will see you next time.